Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Again, we are watching al-Sadini and the Iraqi government take some pretty huge steps forward. I'm excited about what's going on. I was feeling a little bit in the negative side when it came to this new government, only because of Maliki. But as of now, we haven't seen anything that would resemble Maliki's little sneaky head involved in anything that's going on. As a matter of fact, al-Sadini appears to be moving forward with the plan set out by al-Qademi. Other great news over the last couple of days has come forward, and I think these are major steps that were needed in order for Iraq to once again be accepted by the international community and their currency be recognized. I keep stating that, look, even if they did make a change to the Iraqi Dinar exchange rate, what good is it going to do if we are still dealing with restricted currencies? So did what Iraq just recently do take care of that issue? We're going to find out. Before we get started, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. And if you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Moneymetals Exchange. The link will be down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy Silver. Yes, it has changed. PIMPY-SILVER. So if you're watching this video and it's an older video, make sure you check on current videos, because the code is going to be changing from time to time from now on. Also, I can be found on other platforms. Everybody knows I have my own website, Pimpy's News Network. Over here, I post videos that I can't get away with over on YouTube. Also, I have a group on Facebook called Pimpy's Investment Chat. Over here, we do talk about gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, as well as foreign currency investments. Come on over here and join us. It's free to do so. You can also come follow me on Twitter, MeWe, YouTube, and Odyssey. The links for all these platforms will be down below in the description. So for whatever reason, if I get removed off of one platform, you could find me on the others. Now, this is something I've spoken about many times, whether it's doing my gold and silver video, whether I'm talking about the Iraqi Dinar. Look, it's the president of El Salvador is pointing out the obvious, and I thought it was interesting, and I thought I would bring it up. The most powerful country in the world is falling so fast that it makes you rethink what are the real reasons something so big and powerful can't be destroyed so quickly unless the enemy comes from within. Yes, the Democratic Party. And so I've spoken about this many of times. It is being destroyed from within. They have a much bigger agenda. Of course, it's the World Economic Forum's New World Order. But we are seeing plenty of people protest around the world. You know, watching Ron DeSantis do a live debate on the whole wearing the mask and the jab vaccine and the whole 9 yards was unbelievable to see. And I've said it on platforms before saying, look, if these people truly stand behind what they're saying, then why don't they have a worldwide open debate on television and let the people decide? And now you have Ron DeSantis doing that, man. I love it. Anyways, I got a little sidetracked. Somebody said, no, Pimpy, man, what's going on? And oil sales and blah, blah, blah. Man, I'm telling you, you're going to do the 322 rate. Let me tell you something. And I mean this all sincerely. If I'm wrong, I have no problem with saying I'm wrong. I don't. I've said this several times, and I put this out there again. The invitation to any of those other YouTubers out there talking about clones, talking about, oh, they got the magical codes, or they see the numbers on the back screen, or, you know, the redemption numbers. Look, my platform is open. I invite any of them to come debate me about this crap. The thing is, I've done this so many times. I even offered huge money one time to have anybody come on and debate me and prove me wrong, and I'd give it to them, and there was no takers. So what's that say about those people out there in YouTube land and who it is that's feeding you this information? Who else lays out those types of challenges outside of me? But if the restrictions on Iraqi Dinar were lifted, and all of a sudden the exchange rate jumped up high, make no doubt about it, this is what you would see.
Right.
Yes, that's me taking off to the bank. It's a little shaky in the beginning. Trust me, if that was the case, you would see me hauling butt down to the bank. And by the way, this truck runs on, you guessed it, alcohol. It's a damn shame when your trunk's more drunk than you are. But people are out there promising you all kinds of stuff. I get it. They've been doing this for 20 plus years. If it were possible to help everybody out, this is what I would do. Yeah, I'd reach up into my butt, pull out a wand for you guys. Take that magical wand full of unicorn pixie dust, wave it around so that everybody could get their money. There's no reason for me to be hiding the truth. I want everything just as much as everybody else, but let's just be realistic about it. I keep laying out the path that is needed in order for us to achieve what our overall goal is. I've done it several times. While other people are out there blowing smoke up your butt, I'm trying to educate people. But I have no problems with pointing out stuff within the Iraqi news that I think is huge steps for us. So let's get into that, shall we? Now, this article came out yesterday, but I wanted to dig a little bit more into it. And so it looks like, and I've spoke about this before, that Iraq is done with Kuwait. They have paid off all of their debt. And this opens up a ton of doors for Iraq. Now, I remember it was about 6 or 7 months ago when we heard that Iraq was done paying, but they owed a small balance left over, and they were no longer taking deductibles out of the money that Iraq had. So now this particular article says they are done. 100% done. And I'm going to show you in this article what that does for Iraq and how it's a major boost to their economy, as well as a huge positive step towards any real major changes to the valuation of the Iraqi dinar. So again, I want to mention that, if Iraq changed their exchange rate tomorrow and it happened to be 322, it doesn't do us any good. Where are you going to exchange that money? You can go down to foreign exchange center, like in California, there's a couple of them here. If you go to any international airport, like San Francisco, they have a currency exchange center there. But if you're walking up with millions of dollars, you think they're going to be like, oh, sure, just let me reach into my butt and pull out huge stacks of hundreds for you. No, they're going to be limited. Most likely somewhere around the neighborhood of about $5,000. You're going to need to deal with the bank. And I think the only bank actively right now that is willing to buy Iraqi dinar is Chase Bank. I might be wrong, but the last I heard, they were the last bank. So we need these restrictions to be removed. And here's some talk of them right here. Iraq is looking forward to a development leap after turning the page on Kuwait's compensation. Again, this is big. Said the Central Bank of Iraq announced on Monday, December the 12th, that it had received the remaining amount of the Kuwait Compensation Fund at the value of $7,946,316. That is it. They are paid in full. It says the amount was returned after auditing the accounts according to the Security Council Resolution 2621 for the year 2022. Concerned with ending the compensation file resulting from the invasion of former Iraq regime into the state of Kuwait. Now, I am going to jump down just a little bit because a lot of this is talking about the amount of money. Somewhere in the neighborhood of about $2 billion extra dollars goes to the budget every year now. That's huge. It's not like a little bit of money. It's a lot. Okay. But I want to jump down to the more important part of this particular article. It says, he added, we are expecting a resolution from the United Nations Security Council at the beginning of this year to remove Iraq from the problems of Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter and to get rid of more than 40 resolutions imposed on it because of the Kuwait War. which completely shackled its economy for decades until the present time, but I am surprised for the Council's behavior. It has not yet taken the issue seriously, although getting rid of the Article 7 opens up great opportunities for Iraq to integrate into the global community. If you remember when the UN Council removed them out of Chapter 7, but they still left on all the damn restrictions. You know, what good was it? They still needed some of these resolutions to be removed. And you can see right here, they're waiting for these 40 resolutions to be resolved. And they have now paid the last remaining balance of the debt owed. Let's see if the United Nations moves quick enough. See, the isolation experienced by the Iraqi economy is very large. And the world's planes still do not reach Baghdad airport except for some neighboring countries, which is part of the blockade that still considers Iraq a war zone with all the constitutes insurance, shipping costs, delays the transfers of technology, and dealing with progress, said the economists. So Iraq has done their part and they have paid the last remaining agreed upon amount. So let's hope that this last remaining amount, because there's no other reasons for Iraq to be on any type of restrictions. Really. Outside of maybe some of these countries who keep Iraq on blacklists only because of money laundering and financing of terrorists. Although there has not been no links to them financing terrorists in a long time, the fact that they keep getting busted for the theft of the century, money laundering here, money laundering there, it's not very good, but it shouldn't keep resolutions on them. You just keep a closer eye on them is what you do. Said right here, a bleak economic page has been turned. And it began after the issuance of the Security Council's resolution of 986 in 1995, when it deducted 30% of the value of every barrel of oil Iraq exported under the Oil for Food program. But this percentage was reduced to 5% after 2003. Then 3% in 2020 until the compensation file was finally closed after Security Council Resolution 2621 of 2022. They are done, people. We're just waiting to see what it is the United Nations does. So here's what it is that I'm anticipating that's going to happen. Once the United Nations absolutely positively removes these resolutions and there's no longer any restrictions on Iraq, and this includes their currency, and we see that the Iraqi dinar can now be bought and sold in our country freely with no issues, then I'm going to anticipate Iraq to start doing the redenomination and the deletion of the zeros. As I explained before, there's too much Iraqi dinar that's in the hands of the corrupt. So the best way and the quickest way to end that and to assure that corrupt people don't get rich off of stealing the Iraqi dinar is going to be to redenominate it. And if they're going to go ahead and redenominate it and make new bills, then they might as well go ahead and do the deletion of the zeros. But in the meantime, Iraq's exchange rates jumped up again to 1,510 dinars for every dollar. That's the wrong direction. And I'm sure it has a lot to do with the fact that they are limiting the amount of US dollars to be sold. Now, a lot of times they do that whenever they fear that the Iraqi dinar is going to become too weak and they trust the US dollar way more. But the thing is, US dollar's value is going down. They are anticipating a rate increase again, which will once again falsely strengthen the US dollar. So we're just going to keep an eye on this. But the amount that is going up and down is so minute to us anyways, not the Iraqi people. But it does draw concerns for the officials over there in Iraq. I just don't see it. But we definitely want it to go another direction. Remember, we went from 1,190 Iraqi dinars for every dollar to 1,450 Iraqi dinars for every dollar. The latest is 1,510 dinars for every dollar. That's the wrong direction, man. We need this number right here per dollar to go down bigly. Well, we were told this might happen, but now they're saying it's a little bit more higher than they had anticipated. The central bank says that the cash reserves has reached its highest level in the history of the Iraqi state. This is awesome. This is another one of those things that Iraq needs to do to strengthen its currency, besides increasing their gold reserves. The Central Bank of Iraq announced today, Tuesday, that the volume of currency reserves has reached its highest level in the history of Iraq, while noting that the public finances have an opportunity to compensate all the disadvantaged and those with low salaries from retirees. The central bank advisor said in a statement followed by the Tigris News that the central bank reserves has reached the highest levels in the history of the Iraqi state and has exceeded $90 billion. We're not even to the end of the year yet. He added the central bank is the management of monetary policy and intervention to fix problems related to the exchange rate and others, noting that the bank's reserves are still abundant and our procedures are rational. This is awesome. If you've seen the video I did on the Vietnam Dong, you can see that Vietnam is at 312 billion in foreign reserves. Iraq's at 90. They need to build that up even more. Gold and foreign reserve currencies are what you use to protect your own exchange rate. This is great news. The KRG delegation returns to Erbil after intense negotiations in Baghdad. This is dealing with the hydrocarbon law, you guys. God, there's so many people out there talking about it was signed, Pimpy. So-and-so said it was signed. It was signed back in 2007, but it had a hiccup. That is, the Supreme Court of Iraq destroyed it. Instead, it was unconstitutional. So we're back to square one. Come on, you guys. That's why they're negotiating. So if you remember, under Al-Qademi, he was sending them their 400 billion dinars per month. He did it as a good gesture. He went forward. He started paying them their money, and they started sending the oil until the courts got involved. So we are right back to where we were before. So they're still negotiating. There's some goodwill out there. And hopefully they get this settled soon. Because I'm going to tell you right now, another one of the issues that people are going to be looking forward to before Iraq is totally out of all the BS is to make sure that they have some type of agreement in place between a Kurdistan regional government and Baghdad when it comes to the hydrocarbon laws, as well as doing something with the displaced people. Now, right back to this. It's what I spoke about. What does it say? Unless you hear from the central bank, everything else is speculation and just rumors. Planning. There is no agreement to change the dollar exchange rate. None. Not anytime soon. Not anytime soon, according to the central bank. Said the Ministry of Planning revealed on Wednesday the issuance of directives from the Prime Minister al-Sudani related to addressing the effects of changing the exchange rate of the dollar. Undersecretary of the Ministry of Planning said Prime Minister al-Sudani issued directives to contain the negative effects of changing the dollar exchange rate by providing job opportunities, addressing minimum wages, protecting the poor and marginalized, and increasing attention to the items of the food baskets. The effects of changing the exchange rate are not all negative. Jonah added in an interview with the official news agencies, stressing that there is no agreement, whether in the House of Representatives or in the central bank, to change the exchange rate. Anything else out there, anybody talking about it, and most of the time this stuff comes from the coordinated framework. Until you hear from the central bank, all of it is just BS. Now, of course, I have people all the time saying, Pimpy, what do you think? I mean, seriously, do we have any chance of the exchange rate changing? Yeah, anything is possible. But, for me, I'm more of a realistic, grounded kind of person. And I tell people all the time, stay grounded, man. Stay grounded. Look, if we woke up tomorrow and all of a sudden all restrictions were removed and I could run down to my bank and I could change the Iraqi dinar and I was getting $3.22 per Iraqi dinar, yeah, hell yeah, I would do it. And believe it or not, I'd be blasting videos so that everybody out there knew about this. And I'm sure not the only one that's going to do this, okay? Let's just be realistic about this. Iraq is doing all the right things moving forward. They are. They're taking care of business. They're creating jobs. They're strengthening the support of their Iraqi dinar by increasing their foreign currency reserves, by doubling their purchases of gold reserves, by doing what they can to pay the compensation off to Kuwait and try to get the United Nations to remove any and all restrictive resolutions. Al-Sadini appears to be the real deal Holyfield. They're trying to also go out there and find the money that was taken during the theft of the century. So, a lot of things happening at one time. Do I think they're going to change the rate anytime soon? Before the 5 years? Well, look, we're just about at the halfway point anyways. Do I think it's going to happen before the 5 years? Yeah, actually I do. I absolutely do. Is it going to be some astronomical change? No, I still think it's going to go up in increments. The first step is going to be to restore back to its original rate of 1,190 dinars. Hang tight. You guys actually don't have a choice. Either you want to be in this investment or you don't. I just throw mine in my safe and I sit there and just wait. Now, what you do is up to you. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy because the news that I report is not negative. It's realistic. Despite all the crap that you hear out there people talking about. So, hang tight. It's coming. It's not going to happen as quick as you would like, despite the fact that I like to reach into my butt and pull out a wand for you guys. Just not going to happen. Anyways, you guys, let me know what you think. I'll look forward to your comment, and I will get at you later. I'm out.